Hey folks, and welcome back to the show. We are going to talk about severe weather preparedness now, and with me is Matt McCracken, Assistant Fire Chief at Hamilton, and Jimmy Mills, the Director at EMA for Marion County. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are y'all doing today?
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
It's not 6 below zero outside.
I know it's a heat wave out there right now.
It feels good.
You know, one thing, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this, when we were younger, you know, it was pretty much set that November through April was the winter months, and tornado season didn't start until April.
Right.
And now you see tornadoes happening at all times.
A lot of times I ask people, they said end of severe weather season. I'm like, well, when does it end?
Yeah.
Because it's on constantly,
right,
ongoing.
It really doesn't end.
Exactly.
And there is, you know, they've kept really good records since 1950 down to Weather Service. And they've recorded numerous tornadoes in all 12 months out of the year. But there's really two peaks.
Okay.
And so there's a peak from what, Jimmy, mid to end March to about
1st of June.
Yeah, about the 1st of June when hurricane season starts, which causes some more tornadoes. But that severe weather, the main severe weather area is that, you know, kind of in that between that first and second quarter of the year. And then there's a second peak, November to about mid-December.
Hurricane season ends.
When hurricane season ends, it
right.
really does. And you remember back, I can remember back in '02, it was November of '02 that Carbon Hill School was demolished over in Walker County.
Right.
A lot of tornadoes over in that area. We've had some around here in the fall, beginning of the winter kind of time frame. But definitely all year round is the perfect time to have your weather radio program
right.
turned on and working.
And another thing I'd like to add is that hurricane season, you know, we had just started our channel. I think this was in 04, 05. We'd moved it to Hamilton, and they were talking about, you know, hurricane, I think it was Ivan.
Was in 04?
Was coming through. And I was thinking, man, that's on the coast. It's not going to affect us. But it did.
All 67 counties in the state of Alabama was was declared a federal emergency.
Right.
Due to the fact that hurricane affected all 67 counties.
And that's just amazing. Now, we're talking about severe weather today, or severe weather preparedness. Tell us what you got going on about that.
Well, on February the 13th, the Chamber of Commerce in Hamilton, along with the Fire Department, Fox 6, and Marion County EMA, we're going to have a severe weather preparedness day. It will be at Motorsports Superstore from 11 to 6:30 that day.
Okay.
Got some speakers lined up. Greg Kennedy from Smithville, Mississippi, is going to be there at 5 p.m. with a presentation. He's the mayor at Smithville, and he's going to be talking about some of the issues that they had whenever the tornado come through Smithville down there in 2011.
Right.
Also, J.P. Dice, Wes White, and Jill with the Fox 6 weather team is going to be here. We plan on programming weather radios for people that day. You can either bring your own, or I think you're going to have
some for sale there.
Some for sale there. Get your weather programmed like you would like it programmed for you, and talk with us, and we'll help give you tips, disaster tips. You know how to build a kit.
Right.
If you want an app on your phone or your iPad, we'll help you.
Well, that's great.
Get an app. We're trying to help get the public prepared for the severe weather season coming up.
And you said on the programming, I know that if you don't know what you're doing and you don't program it right, if there's a tornado watch in Talladega County and it goes off, you know, so you want to get the areas that, you know, you want on your weather radio program right.
And they're you know, weather radios are just like any other piece of technology that's evolving. And so you can actually block that thing down to where you won't hear anything unless they call for Marion County.
Right.
And that's the way a lot of people want it. Personally, Mine's open to hear what's happening in Lamar County and what's happening in Walker and Winston County, because all those kind of come off the same tower. But you know, and it's to each his own.
Right.
You know, Jimmy prefers a Ford, and I prefer a Chevrolet. You know, that's why they make different kinds and
Exactly.
make different options.
Coke and Pepsi.
So it really is. It really is. Have it your way, kind of thing. The important thing is to have one, have it programmed the way you want it programmed. You know, that is what's going to save your life. That thing's still sitting on the shelf, wherever the shelf may be, ain't doing you a bit of good.
Yeah, that's true. Now, can you program other states like Etowah County?
Yes.
Since it seems like
Yes.
the weather comes from that direction most of the time.
We can program it with Etowah, Monroe County, coming into Marion County. We can program it any way you want it. I have had people come by the office that give these things as Christmas gifts. And one of them went to Tuscaloosa. They wanted Tuscaloosa. Their son was in college.
Right.
I programmed one for them for their area,
Right.
and they sent it to them as a gift then. So,
Okay. All right, what else are we going to be doing there at Motorsports?
One of the things that they've talked about is obviously not very many people walking around in the world today don't have one of these.
Right.
Whether it's, you know, my brand of phone or your brand of phone, or if your phone flips or whatever. But we generally, when we grew up, we were tethered to the wall, you know. And it wasn't until you got older that you get access to the cord with the long cord on it that was stretched down the hallway.
Yeah.
You had to stand right there at the phone. Now we carry it in our pocket with us. And so if you can alert people wherever they are with that device, then that's wonderful. Never, I don't think, will I say that this is going to replace the weather radio. You know, that would be like, well, I'm not going to run that rabbit, but weather radio is first and foremost important. You need one at your home, you need one at your work. You know, the places where you spend a lot of time, you need a weather radio. But there are some apps out there, there's some free apps out there, and some services that you can subscribe to with your phone, and it will alert you. Some of the more modern technology will alert you if you're in an area where this watch or warning is issued for. A lot of them primarily are saying, I want to know about watches and warnings in this zip code. So when they issue one and draw that polygon around that zip code, then it's going to tell you that one time I was on vacation, I had mine set for Baldwin County. And so I forgot to take it off, and when I got home, I was still getting watches and warnings from Baldwin County. I love the folks in Baldwin County. I love their land down there, especially that's got the water running up on it. But for all practical purposes, when I'm at home, I don't care what kind of watches and warnings they're under down there.
You know, I was in the Boy Scouts in my younger years, and one thing I took away from that was the slogan, always be prepared.
That's right.
And since we're talking about this, tell us some ways that we can be prepared, either if we're at home or maybe driving in our car, as far as severe weathers go. What's some general ideas you can give us on that?
Well, at home, the biggest things is make a plan, make a kit, and be informed. Make a plan. Everybody in your house, if this happens, what are we going to do? You know, if your children's at school and you're at work and your wife's at home, what are we going to do if a tornado hits? Are we going to meet at home? Somebody going to go get the child? Kind of talk it through. What are we going to do? What if scenarios? And when you build a kit, a disaster kit, and there you can go online to Be Ready Alabama, and you can put all kinds of things in your kit for home. And the way I build mine is for power outage. If the power is going to be out for a few days. Some people still live in the rural, don't have public water, they have well water. One thing there is get you enough water for a 3-day supply. Anything you need to be able to survive on your own for 3 days. That's what they look to. Build a kit for yourself with canned foods, can opener. You know, what do you need? What kind of foods do you need that you don't have to cook? Medicines, example, and build it for yourself. When I was younger, 20 years ago, if my kit would have had to have diapers, formula, that
Right.
type of stuff. Nowadays, I need beanie weenies and medicine.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, build it for you. And if you come by, we'll be glad to sit down and help you build one for yourself.
Matt, how about if you're on the road?
A lot of people, you know, and they make these kits now that you can throw in a backpack, and I know a lot of people that have a kit just thrown in the trunk of their car. They've got to change clothes in there. They may have a couple of gallons of water in there, some nabs, or some of these meals ready to eat things or whatever. You know, kind of a funny story. The botched weather forecast last week, obviously, that everybody's paid
Right.
a lot of attention to down in the Birmingham area.
Right.
And no fault of anybody's. I mean, you can only do so much with what the models and what the forecast tells you. When God decides it's going to happen a different way,
Yeah.
it's going to happen a different way. And that's
Amen.
just all you can say about that. But you know, the commercials on TV, my wife got stranded in that for a short period of time
Okay.
last week, and so my son told her, said, "Well, Mom, it looks like maybe you need to put some kitty litter in the car because
In case you get
you
stuck.
could get stuck." So I'm not telling everybody to go put back kitty litter in their car, but you know, just think about, when I start thinking about building a kit or trying to be prepared for something, think about something that you use on a regular basis, and all of a sudden it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how are you going to deal with that?
Yeah.
You know, and if we'll take 30 minutes now to think about that, and once a month pay a little bit of attention to that,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes time to need it, then
Yeah.
it's there.
Yeah.
And so, you know, one of the things that comes up a lot is, well, I'm just getting in my car from the house where my phone charger is, and I'm going to work, and maybe there's another phone charger there. Well, all right, what are you going to do in between times?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we need to look at just throwing a $5 phone charger in the glove box,
Right.
you know, in case we need it. Maybe we need to start not running that vehicle down to E. When it gets to a quarter, let's go back up to 3/4, or let's
Yeah.
go back to full at half.
Right.
You know, just being a little bit proactive in that. And with anything, building a kit, you know, there's been a saying around EMA for a long time, and Jimmy's probably heard it, that it's disaster preparedness kits can sometimes seem like the spare tire.
Mm-hmm.
How often do you think about your spare tire in your vehicle?
Yeah. Not till you have a flat.
Normally when there's no air in one that's mounted on it.
Right.
And then that spare tire comes to the rescue.
Mhm.
Oh, you're the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
So I put you on the car, and maybe you start having a conversation with your spare tire. I'm going to start paying more attention to you. I'm going to get you out once a month and look at you, and I'm going to make sure that you're seen about.
Yeah.
But as soon as it goes back in the trunk, we forget about it till we need it again.
Yeah.
So we've got to be a little proactive. We've got to be a little bit more, I have to do for myself versus somebody else is going to do for me.
Right.
You know, the world we live in today is almost like, well, Jimmy down at the EMA office is going to take care of me. He's going to fly a helicopter over here and get me what I need.
Yeah.
Well, it may be about 3 or 4 days before we can get a helicopter to you.
And don't you think the people that experienced what they did last week in Birmingham in the snow, don't you think they probably think, you know what, I think I'll have me an emergency kit next time.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure.
Some of them spent several hours in their vehicles
Right.
on the road there.
Sure did.
And my wife was one of those that just a slick hill that they couldn't get. There was probably 40 cars piled up at the bottom of this hill on 269 there, south of Parrish. And the state troopers came by and said, they're going to bring sand trucks by here in about 5 hours.
Wow.
Well, they're doing the best they can. There's only so many of them things to
Yeah.
go around.
Yeah.
And everybody wants a paved state highway.
Mhm.
So, you know, what are they supposed to do? Just wiggle their nose or, you know, do their finger and make that stuff appear? You know, 5 hours was longer than I wanted her to stay. So I called a friend that had a four-wheel drive, and we went and got her. But, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's there's only so much that can be done for you. So I just try to get into people's minds. Think about what is it that you might need, and let's try to be prepared for that.
Amen. Jimmy, you got anything else you want to elaborate on?
No, he's done a pretty good job. You know, be prepared and beforehand. Don't wait to the last minute and go try to buy you milk and bread for a snowstorm.
Right.
You know, have your medicines, have things stocked up, and just keep it and rotate out of it. That way you'll never miss it, and when you need it, it'll be there then.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the event that's going on at Motorsports Superstore. It's going to be next Thursday, February the 13th, beginning at 11 and going all the way through 6:30. Now, I understand they're going to have a couple live broadcasts on the weather. Is that correct?
That's correct. 5:30, and 6.
Okay. Now, I guess this is open to the public.
Yes, we encourage everyone to attend, even if you're not from in the city of Hamilton. Come on by. We really want to get preparedness out there. Everybody, everybody we can help. That's what we want to do.
And I'm looking forward to Mr. Kennedy, the mayor of Smithville, Mississippi, on some of the things that he has to say about that day, when the tornado came through, how they were prepared for something or maybe not prepared for a certain situation, and how that played out. Have you guys got to talk to him?
No, I have not. I'm looking forward to hearing from him, meeting him and hearing from him.
Well, let's just, since we're on the severe weather, let's talk just a little bit about that storm that came through in 2011. Where were you at?
I was actually working with Strata Station that day.
Okay.
And seems like there was some storms came through that morning.
That's correct.
Had messed up maybe internet even for us around here, and disrupted some stuff, and we decided we was going to go home a little early that day. Wasn't anything going on, and a large part of what happens at Strata Station relies on the internet. So I was headed to the house, and somebody called me and said they have got a tornado on the ground in Coleman, and they're showing it on the sky cam. They called me because my father lives in Coleman.
Okay.
And so they have a little extra interest in Coleman's weather. A lot of friends over there. So I get on home where my mother and father-in-law are with my kids, and we start watching it. And in the bottom, obviously our internet's out, so I couldn't, do all the stuff that I normally would be doing when severe weather's going on. But I noticed Span's on TV showing this tornado, but he's got the radar in a little notch box or whatever y'all call it, where it's screen in screen kind of thing. And I'm watching this storm that's coming toward Marion County on that little radar, and I said, that's not good. I can tell that's not good. Well, he picks up on it and says they're probably fixing to put a warning out for Marion County because of this storm. And sure enough, they put the warning out. We noticed that was moving a little bit closer. I put my family in the basement of the house, and I took off toward the fire department, where, for all practical purposes, between the fire department and Jimmy's office for the next 8 weeks, where I spent.
Yeah. Jimmy, what's your story?
Well, there was several of us, sheriff, some from the drug task force, some other people was in the EOC there. And the way my emergency operations center is set up, it's F4 proof. And I've got 2 TVs in there, and we had the TVs up and going, and we was watching the tornado out of Coleman when the cable went off. We've also got a large screen with a projector that we got satellite radar. We got it that day because the internet was down, projecting on screen, so we was watching the local radar. Well, whenever the cable went off, was watching that tornado, people kind of got up and wandered off and was looking outside. Well, I seen it, an image, and it has burnt in my mind, and I wish I had a picture of it, a red with a black dot. Perfect. I've never seen that ever on the radar, just at the edge of the county line. And about the time I seen that, the Weather Service hollered at me on my 800 radio, told me what was happening, tornado warning. In the process of setting off the sirens, and 911 was also doing that, David Cantrell, who worked with me at that time, had went out the building and was following the tornado, but he was on his phone texting, or Facebook, Twitter, social media. That was another thing that we learned out of this storm, was a big plus. People got those messages off the social media and was taking cover because of it. And there was several families documented in Hackleburg because of that. But I just run to the end door and I seen it hop like a kangaroo and come back in, and after that it was chaotic. So.
Wow. I guess, you know, Hackleburg, you know, just a few miles away, I talked to a guy up there that said it looked like a big rain cloud coming, you know, it was that big. So they didn't really think nothing about it because it looked like a rain cloud coming through. And, man, I just couldn't imagine that. Now, we were down in the basement as well, and we live on 43 North, so we heard it coming over, going, you know, towards Hackleburg. And it's just very important to be prepared. I mean,
just talking about
save a life.
How far it is. One thing that I've noticed, when you look straight line as a crow flies, as they used to say, it's not that far. You go through Hackleburg now at night time and you can see Phil Campbell from Hackleburg. It's not that far off anymore whenever you go as a crow flies instead of by the road.
Right.
You know, and the speed that this thing moves through, you know, it really gets your attention.
Folks, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll finish up with Severe Weather Preparedness Day with my special guest, Matt McCracken, Jimmy Mills. We'll be right back.
I'm Gary Mixon, owner of Northwest Alabama Heating and Cooling in Hamilton. The company was established in 1986, and we are a train and ream dealer. We're certified, bonded, and insured, and licensed by the state of Alabama. We do quality work. We do our own manufacturing, our own heat duct, and we have a well-qualified service department. Thank you.
Dixie Theater in beautiful downtown Haleville invites you to their walk-in historic theater. Come enjoy lots of places to eat, plus a great movie. Call us today for our latest movies at 205-486-8090.
Alexander's Heating and Air Conditioning provides service, repairs, and maintenance on all major air conditioner and HVAC brands. We offer you our valued customers expertise and genuine care, and want to prove to you our skill, integrity, and compassion as a heating and cooling service provider. At Alexander's Heating and Air Conditioning, we do quality work at affordable prices with a 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Scruggs.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to our show. With me to my far right is Mr. Matt McCracken. He's the Assistant Chief of the Hamilton Fire Department, and to his left is Mr. Jimmy Mills, who is the Director of the Emergency Management Agency of Marion County. And we are just wrapping up talking about Severe Weather Preparedness Day, which is going to be Thursday, February 13th. It will be at the Motorsport Superstore here in Hamilton from 11 to 6:30. Gentlemen, I appreciate all the information you've given out. Is there anything you'd like to say sort of to wrap things up?
I just reiterate what Steve has said, is that it is vitally important that everybody be able to receive watches and warnings directly from the National Weather Service. And the way to do that is with a weather radio. It will save your life, and it's your responsibility to make sure that you have one, and to make sure that it's programmed correctly, and that that it'll be used. There are things out there that we're going to be ready to assist you with, finding apps and programs to make alerts go off on your cell phones. We hadn't talked a lot about it, but outdoor warning sirens, they're great tools, but they are in addition to.
Mm-hmm.
That should not be
Your only means.
your primary method of notification. You've got to get that message from the Weather Service, and the best way to do that is with a weather radio.
Now, you said there would be some weather radios for sale at Motorsports. Is that correct?
That's my understanding, that there's going to have some there for sale.
Any ideas on the price or anything?
I think they're around $30.
Yeah,
$30?
you can go buy one and bring it. If you have one at home and would like to bring yours from home just to make sure it's programmed,
Right.
be glad to check it for you.
Okay.
Customize it to you. If it's customized for you, you'll use it more. That's what we're hoping.
Right. Now that's going to be available from 11 to 6, or is there certain hours that?
11 to 6:30.
Okay.
That's when we'll be there specifically doing that. Jimmy and I were talking there off air a minute ago. Obviously, if you can't, you say, well, you want me to be prepared, but I can't be there on Thursday from 11 to 6:30.
Yeah.
Well, go to Jimmy's office. His office is attached to the sheriff's office down near the Board of Education on Winchester Drive, or bring it by the fire department.
Okay.
And we'll help you anytime. Excuse me. We want to make sure people are prepared, and the best way to do that is for you to get a weather radio and either program that thing or bring it by and let some of us help you program it properly and then use it.
Okay. Jimmy, any last words?
Glad to do it, and glad for Matt and the fire department. I've used them several times in the past when I couldn't be there and didn't want to be an inconvenience to somebody. So you just run it by the fire department and they'll program it for you. They've been there, they've supported me through that, and I thank y'all for that. But if you can't be here for this, then call my office, 921-4555, or just drop by. Be glad to do whatever I can to get you prepared and put some thoughts in your head, help you build a kit, some ideas, things you might need. Come up with an app for your phone.
Okay.
Whatever I can do to help you be prepared, that's what I'm there for. Steve, I thank you for having us today to promote severe
Definitely.
weatherness.
And I would like to thank you guys for the work that you do. I know that the first responders and helping people out is, people take it for granted sometimes. So I'd like to personally thank you for the job that you
Thank
do.
you.
Folks, you've been watching Severe Weather Preparedness Day with Matt McCracken, who is the Assistant Fire Chief at Hamilton, Alabama, and Mr. Jimmy Mills, the Marion County EMA Director. And we appreciate everybody tuning in and watching, and we'll see you Monday. Have a good day.